where I'm going to be streaming in the evenings. This is Alexander Napolin, attorney at large. Excuse me. This is my first stream from home, and it is February 19th at about 6:26. I'm sure my children are coming home any moment from the friend's house. It is a holiday, and obviously you see here I don't have it fully set up yet. I'm just wanted to hop on the stream because I've been litigating today on my day off. This is what you do when you're a trial lawyer. You're a litigation attorney. I don't do wills. I don't do trusts. I don't do contracts. I do a courtroom representation. That's whether it's administrative or civil. Those are the two things I'm doing. I'm not doing any criminal, although I did a criminal appearance for someone I know recently and got their case dismissed just like that at the very beginning of the case. Just at the arraignment, told the judge, "Hey, judge, this is the facts of the case. There's no charges here," and the judge dismissed it right then and there. So, if you're out there and you've been injured at work or in an automobile collision or elsewhere, I could potentially represent you. Now, one of the cases I'm working on currently is Children's Dental Group, which was an outbreak of a mycobacterium infection at a dental clinic in Anaheim, California in 2016. Many people have forgotten about this case, but yes, it's still around. The dentists and the company running the show, Children's Dental Group, have hired lawyers, and their insurance carriers have been fighting the case for almost 7.5 years since I filed the first lawsuit. The first judge that we had was Judge Glenda Saunders. She was in the Complex Litigation Division, Department 101, the Orange County Superior Court. It's where all the cases of 202 children who filed claims, filed lawsuits, were coordinated. Never set the cases for trial. Took her like 5, 6 years before she would even consider having a trial. There was a defendant in 2019 who came down with cancer right before the first trial, and she postponed it. And then we had another postponement because of COVID later that in early 2020. And then we had a week-long evidentiary hearing, which is a hearing where the judge is going to make decisions about what evidence, what experts can testify to at the first jury trial. And Judge Saunders found that our expert, because he was only analyzing the 202 children, or it was actually like 50 or 60 children who were sickened, that since that didn't represent um, a sampling, what would you say it? You'd say it would be you know, a random sampling of children, a large enough group of children. It was only some small amount of children that we gave to the expert to analyze. And since that wasn't the clinic as a whole, the statistical analysis wasn't credible. It wasn't scientific. So she didn't allow our auditor. She wasn't going to allow our auditor to testify at the first trial. And that was significant because the defendants had blocked us from the insurance companies, their lawyers had blocked us from getting that evidence. So we were unable to really have a meaningful expert testify as to what was going on there. And ultimately, the insurance carriers offered 23,750,000, and the group said, "Well, we'll try to get it done for that." And we spent a couple years fighting amongst ourselves, the children, how it was going to be allocated, and we finally got an allocation that we thought was fair from Judge Buckley, who was hired as an allocator to take the money, the 23,750,000, and divide it among the children as best he could. and it wasn't very much money for some of these kids. Some of the kids were compensated okay, but a lot of the kids weren't. Some of them are objecting to the settlement and saying it's not enough. And now the new judge in Department 101, Judge Lon Hurwitz, is going is set Majid O'Day, one of the most injured children, for trial to start on October 7th. So now I am preparing that case for trial. It's taking up a lot of my time, a lot of my energy. We have a discovery meet and confer tomorrow. Met on Saturday with the defense attorneys. We're going to go back and see Judge Melzer for a mandatory settlement conference. And hopefully we can get more money for the kids, because that's what it's going to take to satisfy the objecting clients. Unfortunately, some clients are not accepting the settlement. The defendants are saying it's all the insurance and money that they have, but it's based upon a theory of the case where all the insurance arises from just one claim of water infection. So one claim means that the policies are only triggered per claim. And since it's all one claim, children are all stuck with one policy period. And not just that. Some children claimed in 2016, some 2017, 2018. Those are all relating back to the one water infection. But even worse than that, the defendant's insurance's argument is that they only trigger the policy for one individual claim. So if a policy is, for example, 1 million per claim, 3 million aggregate for the year, you don't get the 3 million, you only get the 1 million. So not only do you not get multiple years of claims under this theory that the defense has put forward, but you only get one claim. Now, there was a lot of other types of abuse that was going on at the dental clinic that was, in addition to just neglect of the water treatment, there was knowledge. The dentist knew for a couple months before Majid was infected with this mycobacterium that was antibiotic resistant that there was a nasty infection that was taking place in the clinic, but they didn't know where it was from. Nobody bothered to say, let's shut everything down, stop everything. There's children coming in with abscesses in their mouths. This is bad. We're getting a lot of infections. They just continued to do treatment. And why did they do that? Well, the theory of our case as the plaintiffs, the lawyers who represent the children, we believe that it's because the clinic was being run by a non-dentist, inactive attorney, Samuel Gruenbaum, whose career is built off of taking clinics, making them extremely profitable by boosting production, and then selling those clinics to private equity. And Children's Dental Group was the perfect target for Sam because Children's Dental Group was owned by Scott Jacks, and Scott Jacks died, and his widow, Marcia Jacks, inherited these 10 clinics. She couldn't run them herself. She was not a dentist, so she needed Sam. Sam approached her, and Sam needed her because she had ownership of these clinics, and they put in a dentist as a straw man owner, but Sam really ran the clinics and oversaw the practice as a non-dentist lawyer. And that's how that's the environment under which the infection outbreak took place. Sam had put into place the daily dashboard where the dentists were micromanaged on how much treatment they were providing to the children. And the children were basically being taken into a back room without the parents there, and they were strapped into a papoose board, and that papoose board was where they received excessive dental treatment, at least allegedly. The defendants are saying that all the treatment was necessary, but we have had, plaintiffs' lawyers have had these treatments reviewed by the doctors, and there was clearly some unnecessary treatment going on. In some of the children's cases, and in other cases, it was more necessary, but in all cases, and in many, many of them at least, the treatment was excessive in terms of doing 4-quadrant work on Majid's mouth in one sitting, doing 10 pulpotomies and 10 root canals, doing a pulpotomy and a root canal on every single tooth. No, in addition to a crown, no teeth with just crowns. Every crown also has a pulpotomy or close to it. So the pulp to crown ratio is very high. And when you look at the amount of crowns versus the amount of pulpotomies, which are baby root canals, you see this very high percentage. In other words, when you go to the doctor and you need a crown, do you always need a root canal? Well, if you go to Children's Dental Group, you do, because it was nearly 100% for many of the doctors who were treating there, at least based upon the records that we had access to as the plaintiff's lawyers, which were the 202 sets. We didn't have access to all the children who treated at Children's Dental Group. That was never provided to us. So the fact that Judge Glenda Saunders precluded our expert at the evidentiary hearing 5.5 years after the first case was filed, a week-long evidentiary hearing, said, oh, he can't testify. It was kind of, in my mind, prejudicial to the children, because children were never given the records they needed to have an accurate statistical analysis done. If that's the standard that you're going to use, that you need a full sampling size. It can't just be some smaller sample of children who were infected. These children were just the ones that were infected. We didn't pick the children that were infected. They were just happened to be in the wrong chair, right? They just happened to be part of the group that was of kids that got screwed. So that's where we're at with the Children's Dental Group case. What other cases do I got? Well, I have automobile accidents. I have slip and falls. I have, slip and falls. Someone slips. Maybe someone's at a movie theater and they're climbing the stairs to go up to their movie seat, and the whole handle of the movie theater pops off and they fall. They get hurt, severely injured, falling down the stairs. Stuff like that. Automobile collisions are really big because Southern California, and there's so many cases because people are always getting into automobile accidents. So that's a big one. I represent a lot of people who are injured in automobile collisions and a lot of people who are injured at work. That's also a big one. Workers' comp in California is really big. At least it used to be. It's a lot smaller than it used to be. Treatment isn't as good as it could be. Benefits are, the expense to the employer is high. And it's a big complaint among employers. They can't afford it. But I do those. Got a lot of those. So if you're injured at work, I can help you there. And just hanging out here on Monday. And I'm going to go through some of this stuff at Children's Dental Group. Michelle Geely did this investigative reporting on the clinic, and there's all these videos on KCAL9 you can go see. Here's one of my clients, Neri Amador Morales. Here's another one of my clients, Majid O'Day. Here's another one of my clients, Yuretsi Ramirez. These are all children who were treated at Children's Dental Group. Here's one. Here's Majid.
Visits. Some of those kids were hospitalized. It's a story we broke on CBS 2, and we've been leading the coverage ever since. CBS 2 Orange County reporter Michelle Geely is live in Orange with the latest fallout from the infections. Michelle?
Rick, today I met a little boy who is just 3, and he has been through so much. I'm told that doctors here at Children's Hospital will attempt, when this boy is 6 years old, to take a piece of his hip and make a jawbone. Now, lawyers say that the infection that this child got at the dental clinic has changed his life. The latest lawsuit against Children's Dental Group of Anaheim has just been filed on behalf of this 3-year-old boy, Majid O'Day, who had much of his jaw removed after being diagnosed with a severe bacterial infection. Doctors at Children's Hospital of Orange County put a titanium jaw in place of bone after Majid became sick after treatment at the dental clinic, getting 10 pulpotomies, or baby root canals, the lawsuit says, and 2 fillings in one day. The county closed the dental office late last year when the clinic's water system.
4-quadrant work on this kid, right? So it wasn't just like, oh, we'll do a quadrant or two, we'll do a few pulpotomies, maybe do a couple crowns. No, we're coming in full force, all 4 quadrants on a 2-year-old boy as hard as we can. And then we're going to infect him. This treatment took place in late July 28th, I believe it was. And they had been seeing dozens of children coming in with this infection before then. But all the dentists were concentrated on just making the production, the daily dashboard being reviewed daily by Sam Gruenbaum, who was a non-dentist who was running the clinics. And I think he appears. Does he appear in this video? Let's see.
Tested positive a second time for bacteria. According to officials, hundreds of kids may have been exposed. Majid's case is one of, if not the worst.
It's one of the worst. There's maybe a couple
of his life eating soup and soft food and not testing the other things, and like a normal kid. We don't know.
The toddler is missing all but a few bottom teeth. Lymph nodes had to be removed. His mother and uncle say he spent a month in the hospital critically ill, and that the strong antibiotics he must get through this tube in his veins could affect his hearing. Alexander Napolin is there for several sick patients.
7 years ago.
From reviewing the records, this is the most catastrophic as in terms of how many surgeries and procedures he's had, and also in terms of the lifelong consequences.
It's going to be like nightmare for us. We're going to keep watching him all our life,
Patients' lawyers tell me that at least 100 lawsuits have or will be filed related to this clinic.
Actually were
we reached out to
filed.
the CEO of Children's Dental Group, but haven't heard back. Live in Orange, I'm Michelle Gili. Back to you.
So it's like, who's this CEO guy who's running this place?
An Orange County dental clinic is back in business after being shut down for months.
Dozens of children got sick after being treated there.
KCAL 9 Orange County reporter Michelle Gili live in Anaheim outside the Children's Dental Group. Michelle?
Wow.
That's right. Patients are coming and going today as the families of dozens of kids who were once treated here continue to file lawsuits against Children's Dental Group.
We were really upset. So that's when I became involved and made sure it got fixed.
Fernando Rocha was at Children's Dental Group in Anaheim as the clinic reopened after a 4-month closure. But he won't allow his daughter to be treated here again after getting a serious infection from a root canal.
No way. It's just the staff. They seem to be more preoccupied with helping the dentist and the corporation versus the kids.
Orange County's healthcare agency says baby root canals will now be done at the clinic with sterile bottled water rather than tap water. According to officials, bacteria was found in the clinic's water supply twice last year. So far, 68 children have tested positive for a serious bacterial infection. All were hospitalized. Samantha Aguilar has been checked several times at the office since she had teeth pulled. She was one of the first seen today.
I was a little nervous from the dentist, but thank God that I was actually good.
Children's Dental Group CEO Sam Gruenbaum told CBS News that the investigation into how the kids got sick continues.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're almost saying that it wasn't
what was that? Hold on.
Your group's fault. If I'm hearing you correctly.
Sick, Sam Gruenbaum.
Thank God that I was actually good.
Children's Dental Group CEO Sam Gruenbaum.
There it is. CEO Sam Gruenbaum
Told CBS News that the investigation into how the kids got sick continues.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're almost saying that it wasn't your group's fault.
I don't think it was.
A spokesman for the city of Anaheim insists the problem was isolated at the clinic and that the city's water supply is perfectly safe.
If there would have been an issue with water contamination coming into the building, none of these businesses would be open here.
The city says that it is
so there it is right there. He's a liar.
Water, and
I don't think that it was.
Thousands of times.
I don't think that it was.
That's the latest live in Anaheim. I'm Michelle Gili.
Listen to this guy.
Baum told CBS News that the investigation into
thank God that I was actually good.
Children's Dental Group CEO Sam Gruenbaum told CBS News that the investigation into how the kids got sick continues.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're almost saying that it wasn't your group's fault?
I don't think it was.
A spokesman for the city of Anaheim insisted.
Your group's fault?
I don't think it was.
Your group's fault?
Look at that. What a liar.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're almost saying that it wasn't your group's fault?
I don't think it was.
Look at that.
Kids got sick continues.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're almost saying that it wasn't your group's fault?
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was. It's like, okay, so this was taken April 24th, 2017. They knew that the water filtration system was bad. Well, we don't know if it was shot on April 24th, 2007. Yeah, they did. They were doing, Michelle was doing these the same day. So, like, that's just ridiculous that he lied. I don't think it was.
I'm hearing you correctly.
Oh, we got to capture this, dude. I'm going to send this. Send it. Send it, guys. Send it. I don't think it was. I don't think it was. I'm sick and tired of this guy. Where is it? Where are we at? Where are we at? It's not here anymore. Oh yeah, here it is. This is what I want. No. It's up here. Video. Yeah. Oh, I got to install a plugin. I can't install it right now because I'm live. This is record system audio. Install failed. Oh well. Let's just play it again just for fun though. I mean, the girl's teeth all fell out.
Continues.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're almost saying that it wasn't your group's fault?
I don't think it was.
A spokesman for the investigation into how the kids got sick continues.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're almost saying that it wasn't your group's fault?
I don't think it was.
A spokesman for the city of Anaheim
I don't think it
the problem
was.
was isolated at the clinic and that the city's water supply is perfectly safe.
If there would have been an issue with water contamination coming into the building, none of these businesses would be open here.
I don't think it was.
The city says that it is constantly checking the safety of its water, and it does so thousands of times each year. That's the latest live in Anaheim. I'm Michelle Geely. Back to you.
I don't think it was. It was. It was just, you sick. You made these kids sick. Here's your
Right now at 5, more kids are being admitted to the hospital, and parents say a dental group in Anaheim is to blame.
Of course they're to blame.
I'm Paul May.
And
so
I'm
this
Pat Harvey. Today,
was
3 more families filed lawsuits against the Children's Dental Group of Anaheim. Parents say the clinic gave their children bacterial infections by using dirty water. CBS 2 Orange County reporter Michelle Geely is live in Orange with that story. Michelle.
Pat, a 2-year-old is upstairs here at Children's Hospital. He was a patient at Children's Dental Group of Anaheim, and his attorney is telling me tonight that this little boy had several root canals when he was only 1.5 years old, and now at 2 years old, he has to have his jaw removed. Now, this little boy cannot eat. As a matter of fact, doctors here are flying in experts from around the world to help with this complicated case. And we met another little girl here at this hospital today.
Here it is.
They ruined her life.
This is Yuretsi Ramirez.
I don't know when she's going to have teeth.
7 more children are hospitalized, patients of Children's Dental Group of Anaheim, where health officials say the clinic's contaminated water supply infected dozens and perhaps hundreds of kids. Yuretsi Ramirez is one of the latest to be admitted to Chalk Hospital, where 77 boys and girls have now been treated for a resistant bacteria. Doctors had to pull 9 of Yuretsi's adult teeth The bacteria has spread to her lungs.
For right now, what I know that they told me is that she could fragile her.
Okay, so they had to debride her jaw. So she's saying her jaw is fragile for the rest of her life because of the scraping to scrape the infection away. This thing should be plugged in. I think what happened before is that I had it plugged in, but what ends up happening is that it overloads the Mac Studio. This should be fine now. There we go. Sorry, guys.
She could fracture.
Oh, now it's saying it's plugged in because I don't have a place to plug it in.
If she fractures it just by eating something hard, then they're gonna have to put a titanium plate on her. And she's just 5.
In this latest case, the bacteria was just discovered, although Uretzi had several baby root canals and crowns done at Children's Dental Group 7 months ago. Her mom says she'd brought her youngest daughter in for a checkup. How much was the bill?
I didn't get a bill. So it was through Medi-Cal's.
Claremont attorney Alexander Napolin is representing more than 24 patients from the Anaheim clinic.
Oh, there's me.
3 lawsuits have been filed as of today.
Here I am.
Napolin came to Children's Dental
It was
Group
like
searching for medical records.
104 degrees outside.
The
I was
clinic
so.
will have them delivered in a few days.
Now, you were here last month, or I believe it was September. They were taking files out. We've made a demand that those files be produced, and we want to know what was in those files and if they were some of our clients.
Tonight, Children's Dental Group told me, quote, "We provide this service and do this work because we care for children, and we regret that our patients have had complications." Now, I asked Children's Dental Group when they will start doing dental procedures again on kids. They've been installed with, quote, "enhanced protective measures." That's the latest live in Orange. I'm Michelle.
Okay, so on November 14, 2016, Michelle Geely reports that that they had to replace the water system. The water filtration system was set up improperly. They were using a reverse osmosis system, which is like for drinking water. It's not to filter or distill water for dental procedures. So no one at the clinic was even aware. None of the dentists have taken any responsibility for the water filtration system. So I'm just wondering why they won't pay all the kids a little more money so that they can settle their case and give them what they deserve. Just so horrible. Let's watch it. I mean, you know.
An Orange County dental clinic is back in business after being shut down.
Back in business. Back in business.
Update now on a story we broke right here on KCAL 9. Children's Dental Group had to close its doors after health officials found bacteria in the water system again. KCAL 9 Orange County reporter Michelle Geely has more on today's decision.
I'm scared and I'm worried.
Bacteria has been discovered again at Children's Dental Group in Anaheim, according to county officials.
Discovered
and
again.
As of this afternoon, the health officer has signed an order to shut the clinic down. As we first reported in September, hundreds of young patients were potentially infected after undergoing baby root canals. Nicole Hernandez is one of them. Outside of the clinic, her father was furious after hearing today's news.
I'm too much angry. I'm angry and sick, very, very angry and sick for my daughter, for every kid, the infection for the virus and the water.
Dental procedures had been suspended at this Anaheim office by the county health department. However, 5 weeks ago, that was lifted. A new on-site water system had been approved, installed, and was said to be bacteria-free. County health tests said the water released yesterday found that the bacteria is back. Supervisor Todd Spitzer asked a month ago that Children's Dental Group of Anaheim not be allowed to treat patients.
The fact is, we shouldn't be playing with these children's health. My heart is like breaking today as a result of the fact that we knew there was microbacteria in that clinic. We shut it down, but we allowed it to reopen.
Children continue to be hospitalized with serious complications, abscesses, and in the worst cases, surgery to remove parts of their jaw. Today, the CEO of Children's Dental Group suggested in a statement the city water supply is to blame, and they are voluntarily closing, quote, as a precautionary measure in the interest of patient safety, we will stop using municipal water at this office and have suspended operations until additional testing can be completed.
So Sam Gruenbaum is basically saying it's the city's fault that they don't use distilled water for their children. I mean, this guy is just disgusting. Pure disgust. Just every nerve in my body just screams, you're disgusting. I mean, this boy, Majid, has no jaw. And you have the audacity.
Completed. The city countered that the water delivered to the clinic is perfectly safe.
It's perfectly
safe.
All
of our testing from our sample sites in this area showed no indication of bacteria.
But what you can see is the dental clinic's trying to spin this. They're trying to now shift the blame.
The most concerning thing is how many more children have been exposed to this dangerous bacteria. No one can answer yet how the bacteria is getting into the clinic's water supply. It is unclear when or if Children's Dental Group will be able to reopen.
This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. You know? I mean, this is the type of stuff that is disgusting. It's disgusting, guys. I mean, I cannot believe that this is what's going on in the United States, and that there's people out there who are making a buck off of kids and then deny that they did anything wrong. All right, it's something that really, really grinds my gears, right? But look, you're gonna have to bear with me here. My setup's not complete. I got my 3D printer back here. I got my USB mic. I got a blue, Yeti Blue. I got my ZV-1. It's a variable lens on it, and I got one key light in here. But yeah, it's not as nice as my other setup. Okay, it will be as soon as I get my stuff from my Riverside office, put it on the wall back here. You're going to be blown away by what this thing looks like next time I come live. Nobody wants to jump in on the stream. You know, when I was streaming before, I was streaming on Naplin Accident Injury Lawyer. I guess there's like 1,200 followers or subscribers there, so I would get some people who would come in. But really, let's go into the settings here and take a look at the stream. Bitrate's 2,500 kilobytes. Video is going to be at 1080, which I mean, it's a ZV-1. It's going to do 1080. The output, the audio. Okay. I mean, I'm testing this out too because I'm way out here and my internet connection. Let's see how fast I'm running. I get like 200, 300 in the house. But out here it's only like 53 for the downloading. Uploading's going to do good. It usually does. Okay, I can upload at like 57, 58. So I think that's plenty good. My bit rate is 2,500 and I'm hitting that consistently. 2,600 kilobytes, 60 frames a second. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to be out there. You're going to get in an accident in the rain. and you're going to need an auto accident attorney. That's going to be me, attorney at large. You know, we got this big thing going on in the city of Claremont where there's a group, SJP, Claremont College students, students for justice for Palestine. And Palestine's getting ripped up pretty bad right now. Actually, Majid O'Day is half Palestinian, the little boy that I represent. And, you know, it just seems to me that I'm making such a big deal over this one little boy dying, but there are literally thousands of children being injured in Palestine right now by Israeli bombs. You know, I'm not going to say it's a genocide because I think that there is a valid military target. Hamas in the tunnels, the combatants, the rocket launchers, interlaced in the infrastructure, so on and so forth. So those are military targets that are valid. And to the extent that those are targeted and there's collateral damage, it's a war zone, man. But at the same time, doesn't mean that people aren't suffering. There aren't innocent children dying. And I wish that it was never happening. Is it a genocide? Genocide requires intent, the specific intent to wipe out a group of people. They've killed 30,000, right? Half of them are enemy combatants. Those are valid targets. So 15,000 innocent people have passed away, been killed. I wouldn't say murdered because that would require specific intent. But, you know, has there been a genocide? No. Is there an ethnic cleanse going on? Maybe. As I've said before, if all those people are removed from that area, it could be an ethnic cleanse. But today, we're discussing children's dental group.
Again, with a health crisis that has sent several children to the hospital in Orange
Now, the
County.
other question
All of those
is
children
can
had dental
I
work at
open
the
up a
same clinic
stream
in Anaheim.
while streaming?
And CBS 2 Orange County reporter Michelle Gili spoke with worried parents and
I
the
just
people
turn
trying to
this
figure
on?
out what's making those children
Will
sick.
it start?
An unusual outbreak has sent 7 young patients, including this 3-year-old, to Children's Hospital of Orange County.
I'm scared. I'm scared because like I said, you know, I see him and he's crying and he's going through this and it's unnecessary.
Tonight, we have confirmed through the health department that all of the sick kids had been treated at the same Anaheim Dental Clinic. An advisory from the county says the children have contracted what is believed to be a bacterial infection after having a procedure which is similar to a root canal done at Children's Dental Group.
It's a children's
Now
root
they are
canal.
battling a concerning illness, some with abscesses in their mouth and neck, which have required surgery, like Christian Garcia's little boy.
Yeah, it's like overnight when I was right here, actually the person who's sharing the same room as us, his son is as well here for the same reason. And across the hall, there's another person. The room next door, there's another person. So it's like you would think they would try to like do something.
The Orange County Healthcare Agency has launched an investigation in an attempt to find the source of what is making patients sick at Children's Dental Group in Anaheim. A guard stood at the clinic's doors when we arrived today. Officials say they are now trying to contact the 500 children who may have been exposed to the same bacteria since May.
It isn't usually an issue of a person, it is an issue of an environmental source, either instruments or water source. And that's really what we're trying to identify, and we have gone out to the facility multiple times. We've taken cultures of samples.
We asked the CEO of Children's Dental Group what might be the cause of the problem.
I understand you want to talk about this, and I want to be helpful. I'll assure you once again that we are doing everything, whether it's sterilization or anything else that relates to taking care of the patients. We are on it.
As of last week, Children's Dental agreed to stop doing the procedure.
So that's Sam Gruenbaum. He is a non-dentist, CEO of Children's Dental Group. I mean, what is going on here? Is that legal? I mean, this is the type of stuff that even I can't even believe has occurred. Well, anyway, I'm signing off for now. I'll be on in another hour. I got my 9 o'clock stream coming up, and I will be discussing Children's Dental Group again and again and again and again. Maybe we'll cover Trump. Something. Okay, guys, it's working. I can launch midstream. I was in the other stream. You just turn on the stream and it turns it on and off. It's really cool. Attorney at large. Appelin, personal injury lawyer, California. Heart. 100%. 100%. Okay, I'll be back on at 9.